To the series of webinars and tutorials on the Zeltis product line. In this video, we will be introducing you to ZAC 8. ZAC, or Zeltis Advanced Communicator, is a unified communications client that lets Zeltis customers communicate and collaborate regardless of where they're located. When you log into ZAC for the very first time, you are going to see this screen where you select your physical location from a list. So if you have an emergency and need to call for help from your Zeltis system, emergency responders can have a better idea of where you are. And if, like me, you are a member of a call group, you can select whether you want to log into it right now. In the top left corner is your name and present state. You can change your present state to show your coworkers when you're busy, available, at lunch, and so on. You can also add a note for extra content. Because I don't see my coworkers face-to-face very often, the first thing I'm going to do is click here to upload a picture of myself from my avatar. I can also enter my email and cell phone number in this screen. This information will be shown to my coworkers when they look at my info screen. Before getting too far into this application, let's quickly check the settings. They can be found in this menu up here. You have options to automatically change present states, delete messages after a certain amount of time passes, and so on. This is also where you set up the call handling rules and voicemail notification rules. I would like to draw your attention to the settings in this section. The Microsoft Outlook Contact Integration, it lets you see your Outlook contacts in ZAC. For Mac users, you also have an option to integrate ZAC with Apple Contacts. This unified communication settings enables you to see present state of coworkers in Outlook. For example, I can immediately see if a coworker is busy on the phone when I'm writing them an email. One last setting you should make sure is configured correctly before you start using ZAC is your device binding. And it's actually down here at the very bottom of the ZAC screen. One really cool thing you can do with Zeltis is use any device as your business phone. We achieve that with binding. You can bind to a Zeltis phone or any other phone, even a cell phone via a phone number. Or you can bind to a soft phone and use your computer's speaker and mic or a headset. If you already have a phone assigned to you in the system, ZAC will bind to it automatically. Alright, now that that's done, let's get acquainted with different screens of the application. We've got Recents, where you can see your recent calls and messages. Then there's the Buddies screen, where you can save the contacts you interact with regularly. Then we have Groups screen, where you can chat with multiple employees at the same time. I will go over both those screens in more detail later in the video. Next up is the voicemail screen, where you can see your voicemails and recordings. ZAC can be set up to work with voicemail transcription service, so if you don't feel like listening to a message, you can read its content. Contacts is a directory of all the users on the MX system. Fax is where you send and receive fax messages. Over here, you can toggle between faxes for your user account and for any call groups you're part of, like in my case, I get operator faxes. Conference screen is where you can see your scheduled conference calls, and Park is where you can see any calls that are currently parked on the system and you can pick them up from the Park server. ZAC has a compact mini mode and a maximize mode. In both modes, the icons for different parts of the application show up along the left side. Keep in mind that some of the more complex features in ZAC aren't available when ZAC is in mini mode. There is actually one more icon on the bottom of the menu, but it only appears when you're logged into a call group. You can log in and out of the group in this area right under your username. When I'm logged into the group, I can click on this agent role button here to see who else is online and available to answer call group calls. As an agent of a call group, I have my agent presence. You can toggle it here. Available means that you can get phone calls for this group, and not available means that you can't get phone calls from this group, either because you're busy with another project or just because you're not there at your desk. This is where you can set your active role. What does an active role mean? If I select my user role, Lisa Adams, as my active role and make a phone call to a coworker, they will see that Lisa is calling them. On the other hand, if my active role is set to operator and I make an outbound call, the coworker will see that as a caller ID. The same applies to calls outside of your organization if the operator group has a different caller ID number configured. Let's go back to the buddy list. This is where you can add coworkers and other contacts who you regularly interact with. I want to add Anna, my friend, to my buddy list. I go to Contacts, type her name here, right-click, and Add to Buddies. Another thing you can do in your buddy list is add your other contacts, and not just coworkers. click to Add and Contact, then fill out this information here. To make it easier to manage all your buddies, you can organize them into groups. For example, Tessa and John are both in marketing department. I'm going to click here to add a group and call it marketing, and then I'm going to click on Tessa and add her to this group. Or I can drag and drop a contact to the group to add them to. I can minimize this group if I don't need to check in on them regularly. Let's say I need to get in touch with Tessa. I can mouse over her name in ZAC and select to either open a chat session or start a call. If I actually click on her name, I will see a log of our recent conversations, phone calls, and chat messages. I can click here to see her info, and here's a button for the repository of all the files Tessa and I exchange. I send her a message here. If my company is using SMS, click here to choose whether to send an SMS or instant message through the system. Alright, let's start a call to Tessa. There are some options available here like park a call, put it on hold. I can click here to transfer the call, or I can drag and drop the call session to a buddy to transfer it that way. If you have on-demand call recording feature, click here to start a recording. On the other hand, if you had automatic call recording set up, I would have an option to pause the recording. Tessa and I are working on a presentation right now, and it would really help if we could look at the same slide. I can share my screen with Tessa by clicking on this button here. Or Tessa can share her screen with me, and my application will automatically show me what she is looking at. And if I click here, it will open a chat log. And if I need to type exactly what I think she should put on the slide, I can do that. Or if there's an image I think she should add, I can send it to her through ZAC also. I can have more than one call at the same time. I'm still on call with Tessa, but John is calling me up too. I can click here to answer him, and ZAC will automatically put Tessa's call on hold. I can toggle between the two calls. If I click here, I can transfer John to Tessa, or I can create a conference with myself, Tessa, and John. I can check on the list of participants of the conference call and even mute or disconnect them this way. If you have several coworkers you collaborate with regularly, you can add all of them into a group to keep the conversations together. In the group screen, I can click here to see a list of public groups I can join. If you want to join an existing private group, you'll need to be invited. I'm going to create a new group. I'll call it Marketing, and I'll select members for it from our list of employees. If I type a message here, both Tessa and John will get a notification. And this way, whenever we interact, all the conversations are logged in here. What else can I do in a group? I can share my screen with other group members, same way as I did with an individual person. And I can also do a video call with my teammates, but more on that later. Another cool thing you can do from the group screen is hold conference calls with your group members. Click here to start an audio conference, and all the group members can join the conference or leave whenever they like. Or if you have an emergency and need to reach everyone at once, you can click here to ring all the group members right now. With ZAC 8, Zeltis has really expanded on your ability to collaborate with people outside of your organization. If you are working with someone who doesn't have ZAC account and you need to send them files, video calls, screen share, you can now invite them to use ZAC-like interface as a guest user. You can invite guests into a one-on-one chat, or you can have them join a group chat. The capabilities are the same and the invitation process is very similar. To initiate a one-on-one chat invite, go to My Info screen and click here. I select how long this link will last, and here I can protect the link with a password that my guest is going to need to type in. For this example, I'm going to do a quick 24-hour link with a simple password. I am interviewing a candidate for a position on my marketing team, and I want to be able to talk face-to-face via video calling. The candidate will be providing me their work samples, so that file sharing feature will be really handy. I copy the link and password into an email, and I'm going to send it to the candidate. By the way, her name's Amanda. Now, Amanda is going to click on the link, provide her name and password, and she's in to chat with me. On login, she gets the option to use her computer speaker and mic to make calls via the built-in softphone. Yes, that's right, Amanda doesn't have ZAC, but she has a built-in softphone feature anyway. Up here, she can see whether I'm available, and here are the options to call, video call, screen share. This last option button here lets my guest adjust their audio device setting. Oh, what's this call me button? If Amanda can't use her device speaker or mic for call, she can type her phone number and use the phone as her assigned device. Pretty cool, right? Oh, looks like Amanda is ready to start the call. I press the video call button here and the interview can begin. So Amanda's interview went great, and now I want her to meet the rest of the team. Conveniently enough, I already have that marketing group chat from earlier. I open the info area and click to invite to chat in here. Same deal as before, I set the expiration time and password and send Amanda the link, and voila, she has joined our group chat. Now she can send messages and share her resume and work sample with the entire group in here. Let's go back to the conference screen for a second. This area got redesigned with ZAC 8, so pay attention. I can schedule a new conference by clicking on the options here and selecting schedule. Let's say I want to do a weekly review session for a website project we have been working on. I'm going to add Terry to this conference since he's been helping me with the logistics of this project. I can limit the number of guests or external users who participate in this conference. This is where I select time, duration, and whether the call is recurring. To secure my conference, I will enter a password here, and I'm going to leave the web collaboration set to none. Now that I saved the conference, I can click on it to open a tab for it. I'm going to click on info here, and I can either generate an invite link, like I did before with the group chat, to invite our guest user, or I can click here and send him an invite via email. By the way, I don't need to put Terry on this invite. He's going to see this conference when he logs into ZAC. An external user participating via a link like this is only going to be able to join into the conference call, rather than call an individual user like I showed you earlier in a one-on-one guest chat. One thing you should be aware of is that the guest will not be able to log into the secure session until the conference scheduled starting time. Once they're in, they will see conference participants and a log of activity, including when the conference call is started, so they know not to join a call yet if the host is running late. As the person who scheduled the conference, I can click here to start the call. And just like with the group chat, I can screen share and send files right here in this tab. I can even add a video to this call. Oh, and of course, that's the other big feature we added in ZAC 8, multi-party video. Now, before I show you how to video call, you need to be aware of one important thing. While you can bind your ZAC to any number of devices, what I'm about to show you only works if you are bound to an internal ZAC softphone. I am going to be adding multi-party video on our conference call here. But I can also do multi-party video calls in the group chat screen, and it works exactly the same way. I click here to start my video. By default, I will only see the person speaking if there are more than 2 people on the video call. I can click down here to expand the video screen so that I can see more of the video. I can switch to grid view as long as I am in this expanded mode. I can also open our chat session on the right at any time. Normally, here I'd say we're done with our video, but I actually have another cool little tidbit for you. With the release of 17 of ZAC software, there is WebZAC. What's WebZAC? Well, it's basically ZAC, but with a web browser. Any device that supports a browser, a personal computer, tablet, or Chromebook, can now run ZAC. Compatible with any operating system. Can you imagine the possibilities? No download necessary. Just log in and start chatting with coworkers at any time. It's the same familiar, convenient interface, but in a new package. And now we've come to the actual end of our video. Thank you for watching.